Here's a yard that we set our second and final pull. I slipped back here just to check on making sure that there isn't any robbing pressure on the honey boxes we put up top. Still seeing pollen coming in. Almost busy enough to think that there is still a flow going on. We will know for certain once we pull these boxes off and check. We put one box back. A yard that we pulled off yesterday, the last of first pull, the ones we put back were bone dry. They still had honey in the bottom and just drags the nectar coming in, so they'll have to hold and have the syrup ready to go. It's just we can't feed when we still have boxes on within the area because I don't want syrup up into my honey. So I have to strategize as I start feeding this time of year. So at any rate, I'm not seeing any robbing, so that is good. Sometimes when it gets really heavy, they start digging at the creases. In fact, if there is a space and the bees have propolized it up, they'll dig the propolis and get access to the boxes from the outside if there is a bee space to be able to get through. I'm not seeing any. So maybe if we still have a mild flow, we might be able to strip these second pull boxes off without a whole lot of aggravation. We'll just see how it goes. But that's not what I wanted to show you. So what we're doing in this yard, as we're taking our second pull, wow, look at that. Getting it from somewhere. That is going to make a healthy winter nest. Right now is high time for preparing for winter. These bees that emerge in September will be winter nest. So we're just approaching that. Look at the pollen coming in. It'll be a lot easier on my supplement feeding this fall. Being distracted here. So what I come to show you is a lot of these boxes we returned that are colored. These are monster colonies and these are brood boxes. So we're taking some bulk bee splits again this fall. I bought some queens from Dancing Bee, some local queens. North Star is what they call them. My neighbor actually. And we are going to make some bulk bee splits. Not a lot, just all the brood boxes we had sitting in the shop, we cleaned them up, made them into brood chambers, and we're using them. So they're not just sitting around for wax moth. We just started seeing wax moth infestation. So these boxes we treated with Sertan to make sure that we killed off the wax moth and didn't introduce wax moth to our colonies. You know what? I think that colony is being robbed out. If I didn't know any better. Well, there's pollen going in there though. Gosh, that looks like that's either a robbing frenzy or that's a nectar frenzy. That is robbing. Sometimes when we stack the boxes up top full of honey, put in this excluder, and if this nest has actually swarmed itself, you know, sometimes to death, they don't have enough bees, the smell of undefended honey up top is too much for the lure of robbing bees, so they come and they try to get at it and they can't because of the board, but they strip the colony clear. We'll catch them and we'll just shake them out. But the rest here are in a nectar frenzy. Time will tell whether or not they are bringing nectar in or enough to consider putting one box back as we take our second pull here, because they're sure busy. I hate making these decisions this time of year, when to pull the pin, because I want to finish things up before the kids go back to school. I want to get my treatments on these colonies to prepare them for winter. I want to shut them down because we have harvest coming up, grain harvest, and putting boxes back just means one more job I have to do. with a reduced staff. That's one problem with hiring school kids, is I lose them in September. But it's not up to me. It's up to the bees. At least we have honey in these boxes for second pull. It's going to keep the kids busy for the next 3 weeks. Here's my queens. I'm letting the bank out for a flight. These are some North Star. Put them to the test. That is my yard, right beside the sunflower field. Mid-bloom now. Bees everywhere. 2 bees per head. Practically every flower has a bee in it. So I have 40 hives a mile that way, 40 hives half a mile that way, 40 hives a mile that way, or 40 hives a mile that way. So nothing actually right on the sunflowers, but roughly 160 colonies touching the sunflowers. It sure doesn't take long for the bloom to follow through. Looks like the bees are making the best of it. So I'll get at least another good week out of this. I can tell because I have very little rob pressure around the honey house. They're so busy. Little yellow faces. This whole field is buzzing. It sure doesn't take long, does it? Monster crop. There's my honey house. Gotta love it.